Studios. Today we're making glazed donuts. The ingredients for this recipe are as follows: 14 grams of instant yeast, about a kilogram of flour, 30 grams granulated sugar, 2.5 grams of salt, around 350 milliliters of milk, 2 large eggs, 15 milliliters vanilla essence, 60 grams of butter, 500 grams of icing sugar, and 750 milliliters of sunflower oil. Start by adding 750 grams of flour in a mixing bowl. Then add the yeast, followed by the sugar and salt. Then in a separate bowl add 2 eggs, 250 milliliters of milk, 60 grams of butter, and 5 milliliters of vanilla essence. Then heat it in the microwave to get the mixture lukewarm. Then you want to whisk the mixture till it all blends together before adding it to the mixing bowl. Mix everything together, adding just enough flour to get the dough soft, slightly sticky but kneadable. After that's done, turn out the dough onto a floured surface. Knead the dough for about 5 minutes or until smooth and elastic. Add extra flour only if necessary. Then you want to return the dough to the bowl, cover it with a cloth, and let it rise for about 30 minutes. I heat the oven up to around 80 degrees for 2 minutes before switching it off and placing the bowl in the oven for the duration. After the 30 minutes, turn it out onto a floured surface and roll out the dough to about 2 to 4 centimeters thick. If you don't have a rolling pin, you can use your hands. You'll want to cover the donut cutter with some flour and cut out rings for the donuts. You want to cut them as close to each other as possible to prevent leaving excess dough for re-rolling. Re-roll the leftover dough and continue cutting until all the dough has been used. You should have a small amount left over that's not enough to form a donut. Roll it into a ball as we'll use this later. Once that's done, you want to make the holes in the donuts. If you don't have a small enough donut cutter, you can use your fingers. Slowly twist your finger into the center of the donut. Then place the donuts on a tray with baking paper and leave them to rise in the oven for a few minutes. Don't turn on the oven, as it should be ever so slightly warm from earlier. While that's happening, you want to mix the glaze. Get a bowl and place around 500 grams of icing sugar, 50 to 70 milliliters of milk, and 10 milliliters of vanilla essence. Then slowly mix it in. Once that's mixed in, you want to leave it for the time being and place your sunflower oil in a pot and start to turn the heat on. Place your dough ball in the pot and wait for it to start turning a brown color. Once it starts turning brown, you know the oil is hot enough to start cooking the donuts. Discard the dough ball and begin placing the donuts in the pot. You want it to be on moderate heat. Ensure the oil doesn't start smoking, as this means it may be too hot. You want the donuts to cook for around 1.5 minutes each side, but just keep a lookout for the change of color. Once both sides are done, you want to take it out of the pot and place it on some kitchen toweling. Whisk the rest of the oil off the donuts before placing them in the glaze. Be careful, they'll still be hot when they come out of the pot. Once they are glazed, place them on a drying rack. You can sprinkle any leftover icing on top of them. Once that's done, they are ready to serve immediately or place in an airtight container. They'll also freeze well in Ziploc bags. If you freeze them, take them out around 30 minutes before you wish to consume.